right here. Welcome to Command Center Saturday Night Special live. We are here. What's this called? Marble 21, right?
Marble 21.
We're here at Marble 21 at the Commanders fan rally, and clearly we are having a good time. We are catching vibes here. Man, there are fans from England that flew all the way from England to Seattle to come watch the Commanders play. And of course, they're here to see two legends. I'm Brian Cole Jr. here with Mr. 18.
They live here. A lot of them, most of them.
Man, I told you somebody from England is here. Flew from England, his 4th game of the season. And we got Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell here on the show. Now, fellas, y'all been here, done this before. Seattle, I know y'all got some big memories here. B. Mitchell, I'm going to start with you. What comes to mind when you think of playing in Seattle?
Chantel, you know the name Twan Russell?
Oh, yes. Twan Russell.
We were playing here.
Hurricane.
I'm the up back. Twan is a linebacker. And they know I took every opportunity I could to knock the hell out of somebody. I hit a guy, he lands on Twan's leg, breaks his leg.
Lord have mercy. So that's the fondest memory right there.
That's the best memory you had.
That's my memory. Like here, because I knocked him out of the game, and he missed the rest, I think, like 6, 7, 8 more weeks.
Yeah.
And I think then he got released from here and went somewhere else.
Wow.
And then he every time I see him, he say, "You messed my leg up, dog."
That's crazy.
I hit the dude. I didn't hit you.
Good on football. Two up for the team. Now, before we get to your memory, Santana, because I know you actually had some real battles here against these Seattle teams. We're going to get into a sponsor right now. Now, this is brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders. Northwest is celebrating game day and thanking Commanders fans with a $400 bonus. That's right, $400 bonus when you open your first ever checking. If you open a checking account, maybe you can.
I might have to open me one.
You might have to
cut your read off.
Now check this out, though. Y'all got to open it before November 30th, so do not wait. Visit northwestnwfcu.org/Washington to find out how you can score that $400 bonus with your new checking account. Stop searching and go Northwest. Now that we pay some bills, you know what I'm saying, Santana, what comes to mind when you think of this Seattle? I mean, you were playing the Richard Shermans, the Earl Thomases.
Yeah.
What comes to mind when you think about Seattle?
I got a lot of memories. I ain't talking about the ones when we went up here and we came out without a victory. So I would talk about some of the good ones.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? Regardless of what happened in the game, I think my most fondest memory, and I had some good games here. The year that Sean left us, we came up here in the playoffs, and I remember throwing up the 2-1 when I scored. And it's crazy because like that picture is one of the pictures that I see a lot.
Yeah.
When like in Seattle, I mean, if you look at just the stadium behind me, the moment, like I didn't have that in my head when I was going through that play, but when I got in that end zone, you know how it is. Like folks have dances. I never have a dance. I normally spin the ball, but Sean was on my heart heavy, and I was just thinking about him, and I just wanted to throw the 2-1 up. And when I look back at that picture, all those memories just come back at just that year, the stuff we went through, the ups and the downs, and then even though we lost that game, it was a great moment to be able to share with him, because like I told folks, this is weird, might be weird to folks, but it wasn't weird to me. Me, Sean, and Portis had a little pact, and before the games, we'll meet in the tunnel, and it wasn't like we planned to do this. It was from Miami, the things that we did in the tunnel, coming out in the smoke. And we were just all up, we were all end up last in the tunnel, and it was like, how you knew I was gonna be here? And like, and for the whole season from when I first got here and all the way until Sean left, we would do the same thing. And when the games got critical, Sean would come to us. Let's go. Playing through you offensively, play through me defensively. You know what I'm saying? So when he left us, that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, man, I'm gonna play through, I want him to play through me. And I used to talk to him. And I remember being in critical moments of the game, I used to be like, look, man, I know you up there. Come play through me. Dang, let me be special. You know what I mean? I'm going to be special, but I want you to help me be. So that was my moment to share with him, like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm being special for you. So that's one of my fondest memories.
That's so fire, man. We appreciate you sharing that with us, man. That's a beautiful moment. And, you know, Commanders family, we want you to share with us, too. We want to hear from you. Now, I got the laptop out right now. Normally, y'all say I don't have nothing here, but I have the laptop out because I am looking for your guys' questions. I'm going to ask these guys live on air. So we're going to do left hand up like we normally do on Game Day Live. We're going to do left hand up here for Saturday Night Special. So what I need you to do is put hashtag left hand up. That's hashtag left hand up to have your questions read by these amazing gentlemen right here. Now, fellas, we got a big one.
Yes.
Going against the Seahawks. Yes, we're in, you know, familiar territory with our Commanders family, but however, we are in enemy territory tomorrow. we talked about Sam Howell having to go up against a guy like Bill Belichick, right? A mind like Bill Belichick, and the battle that was. Pete Carroll's right cut from that same cloth.
Yeah.
He's from that coaching staff, right? He's from that coaching tree. What do you think Sam Howell has to do to be able to get the one-up on Pete Carroll like he did Bill Belichick?
Well, I don't think he has to worry about nothing that Pete is doing, just like he didn't worry about anything that Bill was doing. Sam has to go out there and just keep building on his resume, the things he's been doing. When they played very well against the Eagles, but they lost. And Eric said all he did was entertain some people. Then he came back against Bill Belichick, and he had a play he wished he didn't have when he threw an interception.
Yeah.
But they won. Now he can go out there and play a game as well as he did in those two and don't have one of those mistakes.
Yeah.
Just keep building on your legacy. Right now, that dude is doing some unbelievable things where he's second in the league in passing yards.
Yeah.
He's first over the last 5 weeks. He's first in touchdowns thrown over the last 5 weeks. He's taking the sacks total down. Just keep building on what he needs to do and not worry about anybody else.
Yeah.
I think Sam Howell is a guy in a position right now where we had a guy on our show the other day. He said he is in the position to be the best day 2 quarterback since Tom Brady.
Wow.
And Kirk Cousins has played well for a long time. Fitzpatrick did a lot of stuff.
Derek Carr.
You know, all these guys. But if Sam can be right behind Kirk Cousins, I think they hit one there.
Yeah. And I mean, you talked about that a lot too with that Bill Belichick test. What do you expect to see from Sam against Seattle for his first go-around?
I mean, B. Mitch hit it dead on the head. I think you don't have to worry about what the opposing team going to bring to you. Like, you know, I went into games and I never thought about what they was doing. And that was one of my weird ways of handling the week. You know, everybody say, man, what you watched on film? I didn't really watch them do it. You know what I mean? But I will watch the different things that collectively they did.
Yeah.
But I cared less about the guy in front of me because I felt like I want him to surprise me.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in the game like, woo, well, I'm playing against Holyfield. I'm playing against Mike Tyson. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want that guy to be like a surprise. So now I can react on the run instead of being sitting in the game or before the game questioning what he's going to do. That's going to hinder me. You understand? So with Sam, as a young guy evolving in this game, I believe that's what's going on right now with him. Now, don't get me wrong, quarterbacks watch a lot of film. And now the things that we chirped at him about earlier in the season, you're starting to see it, you know, I guess you could say less of.
Yeah.
We don't see as much of what we saw earlier because now he's understanding a little more, it's slowing down a little more, he's communicating a little more. Some of the things that he wasn't doing earlier, they say, okay, take the training wheels off, you can do that now.
There you go.
He making checks, he getting reads. So when you see that maturity, you understand that, okay, he understands how to play ball now. So I don't necessarily worry about who his opponent is, the coach's mindset of how he's going to attack him. I just worry that Sam is right now maturing in front of our eyes, and he understands the game is real. It's getting slower to him. So as long as he allow it to still play the way it's been playing the last few weeks, he can go dominate. And half of the reason why he's dominating is because, one, EB has put him in great situations, and the offensive line. After that Giants game, that offensive line got checked. You can't tell me they didn't.
They got changed.
They got changed too. We already know that. That's evident, right? We saw that. But somebody said something to somebody because the things that was going on before, leading up to that game, and it got worse in that game, you haven't seen it since. And I'm not sure if it's just because CP's in there and Larson's in there. Who knows? That might be the reason. But something happened. So, well, whatever happened, I'm pleased to say that, hey, I'm glad they got on the right page, and now you see things moving forward.
And to y'all point, right, let's really dive into what he's doing right now, what Sam Howell's doing. New quarterback. This is really his first year starting. Brand new offense. Line woes, get sacked a lot. So let's look at this real quick because we talked about those numbers. We missed all of those numbers. He has more passing yards than Patrick Mahomes. He has more yards per attempt than Joe Burrow. He has more passing touchdowns than Jared Goff. Has more passing first downs than Dak Prescott, and more 20-yard completions than Josh Allen. So you might not know, but when you hear those names, those are some elite guys. That's elite company he is in. Now, actually, while we're talking about Sam Howell, we have our first left hand up question, right? So I'm going to throw this to you, Beam. It's just about Sam Howell. It says, what does Sam need that could make him even better? This is from Let Me Know 001. What does Sam need that could make him even better? You heard those numbers.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Well, I'll say this. What he needs is an offensive line to block like they've been blocking. But then on top of that, you heard the show on Friday.
Yeah.
My guy Jeff puts a song out every week.
Yeah.
And he spelled the word consistency. That's what Sam needs because.
One time for Jeff.
See, this is the thing about stats. You can throw stats up and make them look good, man.
Yeah.
But all those other guys, they have consistency. Sam has to work on being able to do that.
Yeah.
Next year, next game, next quarter, next play. Like these guys been doing for the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Yep.
You know, I think ultimately where we always like to take what a guy is doing now. When you begin to do that, you know what teams do now? They don't just go play the game against you. They really focus on you. And they try to take away what you love doing. So he's going to have to work on consistency. And on top of it, also, figure out what you're showing other teams. Because they're going to watch you. And they're going to begin to operate based off of what you do well. And they're going to look for your tendencies. Now you got to figure out a way to throw them a curveball every once in a while. Throw them a little smoke screen. So I think that's the ultimate thing. But I can tell you this. I'm tough on people. I don't just give everybody credit. But I watch this dude, and from week to week, he changes stuff. He doesn't get overwhelmed by things.
Yeah.
So I am thrilled to watch him grow. I want to see what he can do because I believe he has what it takes inside of him. Now he got to go there and dedicate himself like a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Always there, always working to make sure you bring everything you have in you onto the playing field.
You want to add to that, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that B. Michigan's he keep dropping jewels that I can't, you know, up him on that.
Yeah.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things you saw this year from day one. When he wasn't consistent or when he wasn't doing some of the things that we saw the first game, he corrected it, you know, the next game. And the last few weeks, he's been on the road.
Yeah.
Almost 2 or 3 weeks in a row. So now you're starting to see a little more consistent play. I'm one of those guys, man. I don't like pressing. You know, and like a lot of folks press. Quarterbacks press. You know, I play with a lot of quarterbacks, and when they're not on, they're gonna press to get on. That's why I never harped at quarterbacks and told them, look, I'm open. I feel like if I had to tell a quarterback that, he's gonna press to get me the ball.
Right.
And when I'm not open, he's gonna force it, and then something bad gonna happen. So I think he needs to continue to see the field the way he's seeing it. You understand? Let things kind of play the way they've been playing because I've seen a little more consistent play. And that's all you can ask for. Yeah. And from there, you will see him add a little more. Like as a player, like every year I want to get better. So if I had a hard time of getting off a press, then I'm like, okay, this year or every week.
Right.
I want to get off a press better this week.
Yeah.
Okay, I corrected that. If I had a hard time at the top of my route, okay, I want to get better at that. So as a quarterback, I'm pretty sure that stuff going on with him. I want to read it better. I want to see the field quicker. I want to get the ball out of my hand. You've seen all the things that we talked about throughout this season. He's corrected. So what that tells you, he understands. He's getting better. You feel me? So that's all he need to do. Continue to see the game the way we're seeing it, the way he's seeing it, and continue to grow, get it better. Before you know it, the question's gonna be like, is Sam Howell one of the elites? Because he's doing all this stuff in year one.
Right.
I understand he played. This is second year, but it's still year one. You understand? Like this is still year one. So eventually we're gonna be talking a different talk about this guy because he's showing us that he's checking every box.
Right.
And I think another thing, and this is about the people that are gonna throw the stats out there. Sam Howell 2 weeks ago was still in the top 5 passing yards in the league. When he had a horrible game.
Yeah.
Nobody put those stats out there.
Nobody said nothing about it.
And Sam, I want to understand, like I try to tell a lot of fans, the people that's putting the stats out, they're not doing it for you.
Yeah.
They're doing it act like they knew more than somebody else.
Look like this.
He was like number 3 of 2 3 weeks ago when he had the horrible game when they would say break Jacoby in.
Yeah.
So the people that always want to act like, oh, I'm always on your back, no, you're not. Because you had the stats then and you didn't put them out.
Yeah.
So learn this. People are going to always try to get shine off of what you do. keep doing what you do and don't worry about the shine.
Most definitely.
Don't worry about those stats.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. Guess what? They live up to it.
Right, and I think something that y'all give really interesting perspective on is because y'all been in these locker rooms. Y'all have seen multiple quarterbacks develop, especially you, Tanner, right? You're in that receiver room. You said you played against a lot of quarterbacks. You played with a lot of quarterbacks. Like you said, this is Sam Howell's year one. Compared to what you've seen throughout your career, how is Sam progressing in this first year with this new offense, man? Are you comfortable with what you've seen so far from Sam?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's so crazy because, so, two guys stand out to me when we were talking about a young guy, and it's RG and Kirk Cousins. RG was on a level, it's 2012 season, it was like lights out. It was unreal. But when you really watch the game and you slow it down and you watch the play-by-play, the things that he did that he shouldn't have done, it worked because they hadn't seen it yet. You understand?
Yeah.
People they were so scared of what he can do with his legs. When he threw the ball, even if he made the wrong read, we made him right.
Right.
And when you're on fire, you're on fire. But that's one thing about the NFL. They sit there and just watch you. They collect the film, they dissect it, and then they say, okay, do it again.
Yeah, he makes a lot
See what I'm
of
saying?
mistakes.
So I saw that part, and then the Kirk Cousins come in, and you like, this motherfucker don't miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was one of those guys where, like, I had a friend of mine call me one time, was like, oh yeah, he a better. He's like, man, Kirk Cousins playing this week. You gonna get like 80-something yards and a touchdown this week. I'm like, how you know that? He just like, man, Kirk don't miss. And Kirk was a guy that, man, he just, and like I hate when I hear people talk about Kirk Cousins in a wrong way because this is a guy, they say, oh, he haven't won you a game. He didn't wow you as a quarterback. No, but he find the open man. I don't want a quarterback that's going to win me a game. You know why? Because he don't need to. I'm out there receiver, whoever else at running back and receiver, they win the games. Yeah. He just get the ball to us. Yeah. So that's what he always have done. So when I look at what Sam is doing, I compare him to those guys. Yeah. I've seen the same kind of jump. See, in year one, when you're having up and down year, it's hard to overcome a lot of that turmoil. You understand? Like, RG didn't have the only turmoil he had was his injuries. Yeah. He was on fire. Everything he did was, we made him right. Even when we didn't make him right, he made us look good. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was hand in hand. But what I've seen from Sam, if he mess up, he correct it. Yes. That tells you that this guy's getting it. He's understanding that, okay, I got to be better. And he's watching the film to make sure he don't make that same mistake. Right. And that's all you can ask for. Like, when you have a young guy, to me, that's 3 years ahead of where he should be. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. Like, that's how I look at him. I'm like, this guy's at least 2 to 3 years ahead of where he should be. And it's still year one for him because this is only week 10. What is this, week 9?
He's going into week 11.
He's going into week 11 of his start. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so he's far ahead of the curve as a young guy. And, like, you see guys Pickett, all those other guys around the league that had more playing opportunities than him, and it's still kind of hard for them.
Yeah, they're dwindling a little bit. Yeah.
And then just to add, the offensive line play wasn't always, on point.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just started getting better. And I think this is a perfect point for another left-hand up question for both of you guys. Beamish, I'm going to start with you. This is from Stephen McDonald. Do you believe, this is a tough one, Beamish, do you believe our quarterback search is over, and can we concentrate on building out our roster? And where would you begin at building out our roster if Sam is that guy?
Well, I don't think it's over. I think you're leaning towards it being over. Yeah. I think he's shown that he has the capabilities of making it be over. Yeah. But I think a lot of teams keep looking for quarterbacks. Yeah. But the ultimate thing is, I had a conversation with our guy, Barstool Nate, where he was like, we don't have to look anymore. I'm like, he don't have to do anything else. We got 8 games left. Yes. So I need to see him play better in his 8 than he played in that 9. And then you can say yes, because he's done enough to where you're already saying this could be our guy. Yeah. Okay? But what if it doesn't go that way? You can't say it's over. So right now, I would say you damn well starting to make the seesaw lean that direction. Yeah. But ultimately, going forward, whether he's a guy or not, the offensive line has to be better and more consistent. Yeah. And once they're better and more consistent, that quarterback that has his level of talent
Yeah.
can now begin to grow.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going down the runway anymore. Starting to come off the ground a little bit. He can soar if they get the best offensive line in front of him.
Yep, and Commanders family, keep dropping those questions in. That's hashtag left hand up. That's Facebook, X, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure y'all put that left hand up hashtag so that we can answer your questions. Now, let's get into this actual matchup discussion, right? Because we're going to talk a lot about Sam Howell. However, I think we need to paint a picture of how big this game really is, right? So, teams that are 5-5, so if we win, we'll be 5-5. Teams that are 5-5 have a chance of 30% chance to make it into the playoffs. 30% chance. Teams that are 4-6 have a 7% chance. So there's a big difference here. So we're still in the playoff.
That's a whole MJ difference.
That's a whole
23,
difference.
baby.
That's a big difference. Fellas, how important is a win today? It's back-to-back road games. Tan, I'm going to start with you. How important is a win today for this season?
I mean, it's very important, I think. But one of the things you can't do is just say that if you don't get a win, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm one of those guys. I'm week to week. I'm a week to week guy. Like, until they tell me it's over, and then it's over.
Right.
And
it ain't over yet.
Every time I got a chance to go out there and rewrite the narrative, that's my opportunity.
Yeah.
But until they say, whatever you do today is not going to change what you look like. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's when I'm like, well, but that don't mean I'm not going to go out there and perform well. You see what I'm saying? So, but when it comes to the team aspect and just us going forward, I want to see them be productive.
Yeah.
I want them to see them fight. I want to see all that stuff. But I don't think if you get out of here and don't have the win, it's over. And it's tough to win here.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, we find a way every time. So, you know, we got a saying that we use with me that I don't quote me, but quote me. Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
If we come out here and shock, a lot of people be like, oh, wait, we didn't see that from this team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's something about what we do against Seattle. It's just like one of those guys that like, yeah, you're not in our division, but when we match up, we find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And right now, we catching them, they're a little angry.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed last week. And typically they play better home. But I know Gino. Gino's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
And what a gunslinger want to do is sling that thing. You hear me? So we can be sound the way we've been the last few weeks. Yeah. We can get him to go out there and try to be himself and catch him slipping. So that's why I say don't quote me, but quote me. Don't be surprised.
Tan is right though. It's like after they traded Chase and Montez, every man to a man that I heard said, this thing's not over.
Yeah.
We got what we need in this room. We can still win. And if that's your mindset, that little saying that Ron hit him with a few weeks ago, do your job.
Yeah.
If everybody come out and do their job, guess what they can do? They can go win.
Yeah.
And that's all they need to do. They have enough talent on this football team to win games.
Yeah.
Let's see if they have enough passion and pride to go make that talent come out.
100%. And like you said, Santana, Seahawks coming off one of their worst losses. Their worst loss of the season, one of their worst losses ever. They have a Geno Smith. We talked last week about how we were relieved that Mac Jones was not a dual-threat quarterback. We finally got to see a guy that just likes to stay in the pocket. Well, Geno's not that guy. Yeah. Geno is a dual-threat quarterback. Not as mobile as he used to be, but still can run a little bit.
Hold on. See, I know Geno.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm a big fan of Geno.
Yeah.
I grew up with his mom and his dad. We went to high school together. So he's from my neighborhood. So I know. And I think the world of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would say he's more of a pocket guy. Before a runner. But he will get, just like any of us.
He'll let off on you,
He gonna get out there and try to do something. But rest assured that you can keep him in the pocket because he want to sling it. Mm-hmm. When he get outside, he want to sling it. You know what I mean? So he's not looking to run. And so I think that still kind of falls into what we want. We want out of a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And to not get as much as we wanted against Matt, I believe Matt was set up to say, let's get rid of it, let's get rid of it, let's get rid of it.
Quick pass game.
So we're going to see a lot of that this week, too. They're going to say, let's get rid of it. Matt Jones didn't get sacked a lot, so you shouldn't be able to you shouldn't get sacked a lot. But we also know if you play that coverage, that's going to get him to throw the ball when he shouldn't, because he sees something different, play sticky in the outside and the back end. Yeah. Now he might get lucky and get a couple on. But you got to think about it. Geno coming into this game with 6 interceptions in the last 4 weeks. I believe 8 turnovers total in the last 6 weeks. You understand? So a guy like that, don't get me wrong, that's in your head.
Yeah.
Like when I dropped balls and I came into a game no matter what I did that week to correct that, that was in the back of my head, like, Tanner, don't drop one. Because, boy, I'm going to be sitting here, you understand? So it's in the back of his head, man, and the way you can keep that back there is when he's throwing them, you get your hand on one or two of them, even if you don't catch it.
Then he gets a little hesitant.
He going to be like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, hey, man, look, that's like I say, I ain't going to say it again. Finish.
And B-Mitch, how do we get Geno Smith? You know, we talked about it. 6 interceptions in his last 4 games. How do we get Geno Smith to make some of those mistakes against us?
Pressure. I think we have 2 guys that we kept. We didn't trade them. And Jonathan and also Duran. It all starts with them.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys can get that pressure up the middle. No quarterback likes pressure in their face.
Yep.
And they can get that. Those young guys showed a lot of promise last week, coming off the edge. If you can get those guys to lead the way in the pass rush and the run stopping, then you have a chance there. Because when you start rushing a quarterback and make him have to make a decision quicker or hold on to the ball a little bit longer, because now the pass rush comes, if the defensive backfield is playing a little tougher, he has to hold it. That's where the edge comes. So everything starts, the 2 up the middle. When they leave Ridgeway, Mathis, whoever's in there, get it done up the middle, and you get a chance.
And just to add to that, you got to think about it. The last time we faced a dismantled offensive line like this offensive line, because you got to think, this offensive line that we're facing tomorrow had 6 different starting lineups.
Yep.
So they just like the Giants was when we faced them. And we gave the Giants 14 points, but besides that, we was after those guys.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to see the same kind of output from our D-line. Even though we don't have Chase and Montez, we can still get that same kind of output because their worst is in the interior. Their interior, like all their offensive linemen has a PFF grade under 50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is bad. You understand? So if we humming like we should be, and those guys on the inside now have the guys on the outside that say, hey, look here, set me up. I'm gonna go do it. And you know, a guy like Payne, he's one of those freakish kind of athletes. He can do what he want to do when he want to do it. I want to see that pressure tomorrow from our inside interior guys because that's what you want. You want to force Geno to say, I'm going to either throw it now or get outside. And now when you have guys like Two-Hill, or what they call him, James Hyphen, you know what I'm saying? Those guys are going to make the plays because it's coming to them. And those guys play sound football. They're going to play within the confinement of the defense, and they're going to be ready for the opportunity to shine.
And Tanner, you said something that I just love, man. You talked about your mentality after a bad game, after drops, right? And I think somebody like me, the fans that are listening, right, we didn't play the game, right? We didn't line up there. So we don't really understand what that mentality is like. You said you know Geno personally. You know he's coming off of some rough games.
He gonna sling it.
What do you expect his mentality to be when he comes and sees us tomorrow?
He gonna sling it. He gonna look at us like, he gonna look at what he saw because we put it on tape. We went out there as a defense and put it on film that we can be, because you gotta understand something. The receivers they have, I'm scared of those guys. You got Metcalf, Lockett, then a little young cat, what his name, JSN?
That name is a little weird.
It's a little weird.
They can be baby Eagles wide receiver core. You understand? So as confident as Geno gonna be, he gonna be like, okay, this is my time to get right. And that's why I say as a defensive backfield, we have to say to ourselves, like, this is when we need to be our stickiest. This is when I want to see our guys be aggressive. Like, if you're gonna sit up there and press, put your hands on them. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things that I hate when I'm watching football, and this is nothing because I understand that everybody have an assignment. You have an agenda. You're going to do what the defense allows you to do. But I'm going to tell you something. As a receiver, it wasn't one time that I lined up that the opposing team didn't press me and want to put their hands on me. Because they know free access with me,
trouble.
Your defensive back is in trouble. And if you're not doubling me, boy, look here. His mama gonna feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm being real. So when I watch this game and I don't see our defensive backs doing it a lot, and it's like I say, I'm not saying that they should because whatever they're getting told to do, they have to do. But if I'm confident when I see a guy like Fuller goes out there, he say, look, Fuller play the game like or Smoot. Yeah. They so smart and educated in what they got. Yeah. Smoot will tell you, look, man, I ain't trying to get beat. So I'm going to put my hands on this guy now to slow him down to get that quarterback off him. That's what you need to do. You have to understand. Don't get caught up into the guy you playing. Understand the scheme. Yeah. Understand that if I put hands on this guy when I'm in press, it's going to slow him down from getting to his route. Yeah. And that quarterback doesn't have time with the pass rush that we're bringing. You understand? Yep, so we have that. We have to take full advantage of it. So that's why I want to see a little more, because I feel like the receiver core they have, with the guy they have at quarterback, they can have a day on us if we go out there slipping. And I don't want to see us slipping.
I'll give you a prime example. Last week, we got to the stadium early. We were watching Kansas City against Miami. Tyreek Hill has been cooking people. Yep. That cornerback, Tyreek Hill,
there you go.
Every play, he jumped in his chest.
Jumped in his chest.
And people go, what if he go past him? He had somebody over the top. But the fact that he jumped in his chest, Tyreek had to take that on. 1,001, 1,002.
Yep. Got to get rid of the ball.
Can't wait for you no more.
Got to get rid of the ball.
You got to throw it somewhere else. And I think that's the ultimate thing right there, where when we are pressing, press. I've seen times we press and we open up and let him run.
Gate.
You let Metcalf or Lockett run free.
Yeah.
Or whatever name, the other little kid.
Yeah. JSN.
They all have enough speed to where you will not catch up.
Right, yeah. And I want to talk more about these receivers, but before that, we're at Marvel 21. We're hearing the vibes, Commanders family everywhere, and you guys are leaving y'all questions, so I have another question for you guys, another left-handed up question. So, okay, Beamish, I'm going to start with you, all right? Who were your toughest opponents in Seattle when you played? That's a great question.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, that's a great question right there. I had to get that in there.
Toughest opponents in Seattle. I have to go all the way back. There was a linebacker. Oh, man, I can't think of his last name right now. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Went to Southern University. But that dude, he was a problem. Covering, rushing the pass rusher, all of that. Chris Warren, looking at him on the sideline while our defense on the field, I'm like, what the hell? Chris Warren was a dog, man.
Yeah.
So the ultimate thing is like, I forgot my man's name. Oh, Lord, I hate this. I can't.
That's okay. So he ain't going to take
it personal. He went to the same church that Monica went to. Oh, man, but he was a problem. And I think that's like, it was always somebody out there that when you got here, you knew you had to be concerned about. Yeah. And I remember all week, that dude, they kept saying, make sure, Rufus Porter? I think Rufus Porter was his name. They're like, you better make sure you have somebody on him. And he played a little special team, but a lot of defense. It was a damn problem. Yeah. I'm telling you.
I love seeing you guys line up when y'all talk about old opponents, because it's like you're back there right now. Tanner, me and you done had some conversations about Seattle. You got to see them when they was a Legion of Boom. You got to line up with Richard Sherman, man. Talk about who your toughest opponent was when you played Seattle.
Legion of Boom. You spoke about them. I mean, them as a core, them as a unit. Yeah. But it's crazy because I remember playing them here, 2011. My first game back off of a hand, I broke my hand, and I spent 4 weeks out. And when I tell you, I came back, my hand, I couldn't even catch. The ball used to hit my hand, I swear I couldn't even do this. Like, I couldn't even grip. But I wanted to be out there. So every now and then I was going to catch one. But, like, I didn't have the same kind of strength that I had before, because it just was impossible to get that on them 4 weeks of being in a cast, and then you come out of there, now I'm back to doing what I was doing. You have to spend some time in rehabilitating that to get it back to normal. But my first game back was here. Man, Cam Chancellor hit me so hard. The only time I've ever been hit that hard in my career, and they call it a scorpion or something. I saw it on a TV show where when you get hit and your feet touch the ground before you get hit, you went backwards, but your feet touched before your head. Lord have mercy, look here. Cam Chancellor hit me, and I got off the ground. He was talking, and I'm like, I heard a beep. And, you know, the guy in me, like, do it again. And he talking smack, I'm talking smack back. And I swear I played the rest of the game with a beep. And it's not, I'm not happy to say this, but, you know, at the times when we starting to find out about concussions, like, maybe I had that. I didn't know. But the player in me, knowing that I just got back, we out here, Richard Sherman was in my ear talking. I think I got into a little scuffle with him.
I remember that.
I was out there trying to just, man, I'm just trying to win, man. I don't care right now. Like, Brian been out here for 4 weeks. So I'm trying to fight for my team. Whatever I was at that moment, I wasn't him, but I was trying to go out there and be him. And I took it. And it was crazy because coming back, we was going to see them again the next year in 2012 in the playoffs. And the first thing they spoke about, Richard Sherman was like, oh, yeah, Tanner was talking at the mount. We're going to smack him around. And the media came to me instantly like, hey, how do you feel about what they said? I ain't got nothing to say. You know what I'm saying?
I'm held it now, brother.
Cause look, one of the things about that, he move in silence, baby. I ain't got to say nothing. Yeah. And if you want, and I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna speed this up and let you understand what picture I'm trying to paint here. The reason why I ain't say nothing, one, that just ain't me. I don't get into the media and talk hoop and holler. But two, being the OG. Guy like Trent told me, hey, boy, don't say nothing, don't do nothing. I got you.
OG Trent.
And if y'all remember that 2012 game, we lost to them in the playoffs. But I had one of my better games against them, because I'm back, my hands back. I was having me a night. And after the game, Trent had to go ask Sherman what he was feeling. And so I'm like laughing to myself because, no, don't get me wrong. I know the question was, you know, who was my toughest opponent? But it all adds up until what transpired from that first time I faced them to the second time I faced them. And it was crazy because Pierre was getting at it with Bronner, and I'm sitting out there, guys waiting for me to respond. I'm quiet the whole night. Because I'm like, I'm eating. They throwing me passes. I'm like, yeah. In 2011, I damn near could catch a ball. But right now, I'm on one. And at the end of the game, we lost. I'm by my bit. I'm in the tunnel going to the locker room, and then everybody running there like, man, Trent just smack buddy for you. And I looked at Trent like, come on, man, you ain't had to do that. But Trent like, nah, he ain't gonna talk to my OG like that. So I'm like, now they know. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
But to answer your question, man, those guys, Legion of Boom, like I tell guys to this day, Richard Sherman, a lot of people don't want to give Richard Sherman his respect. Yeah. Mainly because he talks so much crap. Man, get a man's credit. Right. He was pretty good. Bronner was pretty decent for the time he was there. Chancellor was a beast, and Earl Thomas.
Earl was,
man, Earl was the glue. Earl ran that thing like a quarterback, and he was like Ed Reed for them. He had those guys set up in the right spot, and he played some of his best football. So those guys was so dominant around that time. I ain't want to see him, you know? Real talk.
Man. Those are some dominant secondaries, man, you were going up against. You know what, fellas? I had like a whole rundown plan, the whole show plan, but I feel like I'm really just enjoying hearing from our fans, hearing from you guys. So I got another left-hand up question. Y'all going down?
I'm ready.
All right, so this one, now y'all talk about all these teams that y'all play, right? This is not the same Seattle team, right? We're not seeing Richard Sherman tomorrow. We're not seeing Earl Thomas tomorrow.
Yeah.
However, we are seeing that 12th man. So this is a question from Tim Stein. Do you think the 12th man plays a part in tomorrow's game? D-Mitch, I'm going to start with you.
It plays a part if you start the game off slow and you let them get into a rhythm. Yeah. If you start the game off fast, you don't allow them to get into the rhythm, they're as quiet as church mouse too. They have set records being the loudest stadium out there. They've also been very quiet. Yeah. And that happens when another team rolls in and does everything they're supposed to do and don't allow you with the big plays. You know, you have some big plays. Yeah. You don't have the turnovers. Tan always say, no turnover, win the turnover battle. We win the turnover battle, they don't have enough to cheer about. Yeah. That's the whole thing. We have to stop them from cheering.
Yeah, and talk about that 12th man, Tanner. You've been there.
No, the 12th man is one of those things that you have to be aware of them. Like, I hated this week. I hated going into Seattle because, you know, that's the week that you're going to hear the loud noise throughout practice all day because they trying to, I guess you could say, imitate what we're gonna hear. You know what I mean? Like we playing music, you're like, why are we playing this? We playing crowd noise because it's loud, bro. Yeah. Like you gotta have your hand signals down, you gotta have your silent count ready. You gotta have, the communication is gonna be so key on both sides, offensively and defensively. And the greatest feeling I got playing here is when you hear that 12 man get up and then you make that play on third down.
And it's silent.
And it's like, I mean, it's like literally you can like they were like, it was like on like simultaneously when you catch that ball. I remember making a play on third and something, and as soon as I reached over the first down, it was quiet, and I'm like, yo, we got him. We playing mind game. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they kind of like Spike Lee. Yeah. They talk trash when they got stuff going on.
Yeah, when they
When they get their ass bust, they shut up.
They play a major part, so you can't allow them to. That's one of the reasons why I say some of the keys to us offensively is to stay ahead of the change. You know what I mean? Get positive down, have positive yardage every down. If you getting those 1 or 2, if you falling forward every down, you give yourself the chance to be in third and short, third and manageable. You understand?
There you go.
You don't want to see yourself in third and long. You don't want to see them getting sacks, doing things of that nature, because now that's when the 12 man gonna really be rocking. And if you see anything up at the line of scrimmage, it's hard as a quarterback to say, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to point out the protection, but it's hard to tell your guys, be ready for this or to change into a play. So I just feel like it's vital for us, it's very pivotal for us to have our stuff together and come out of the huddle knowing that. And one of the things that we did was rush to the line of scrimmage, hike the ball now. Like, don't even allow that to, play a major part. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. I don't want to hear a lot of the 12 man. But one of the reasons I think that we can overcome them is by doing some of the things we've done in the last 2 weeks. Just managing the game offensively, moving the ball up and down the field.
And B-Mitch, Tanner talks about those plays that just silence the road crowd. We're on back-to-back road games, right? What player, in your mind, do you think is going to have those plays tomorrow that silences that 12th man?
Well, offensive players, I'll go with Sam, Terry, Jahan, Crowder. Special teams, because Crowder has been playing a lot now since Curtis has been having his injury. But if you flip it over defensively, I think Kendall Fuller is, like you mentioned him earlier, a smart enough guy to know how to play. Snap that ball down. We need somebody on defense.
The moment don't get too
when
big
they look like something about to go. Because Kendall been in the big game, won the Super Bowl. We need guys like I mentioned John and Duran earlier. Those two guys right there, that play that the guy had the 67-yard touchdown last week when we played against New England. I don't know, I've seen this happen multiple times. They play on the shoulder and they go out. And the linebacker got to handle the middle. Run that same thing this week, but let the tackles cross. Let the linebacker handle the outside. Let's see if it happens. Because I believe we need to be able to show them, bam, and slam the door shut. Because those two guys are the ones that need to be leading the way, as I said earlier, playing more dominant than they've done in some games I've seen earlier.
And Tanner, he gave you some good guys. Who do you think is going to silence that 12th man tomorrow?
I mean, if you had to ask me offensively, it's a lot of guys that I can just name. He named a couple of those guys. But I think, too, when I'm watching the film and just seeing some of the things that I saw transpire on film, like Logan Thomas might play a valuable role for us. Mainly because I say this because I'm listening to her telling us about the bar closing. Last call for y'all too, Miss letting y'all know.
Last call. Drink responsibly.
Please do. Logan Thomas stands out to me just watching some of the things I saw on film. See, Pete Carroll's gonna bring those guys. And it's crazy because the defensive coordinator, what his name is, Clinton Hurt, and the D-line coach, Damian Lewis, those are my teammates in college.
That's so crazy, man.
Both of those guys graduated with me at the University of Miami. So I already know their mentality. But also with Pete Carroll, he's bringing it. He's going to bring those guys from every level. They got a great edge rusher in Moffitt. Adams from the safety position. Witherspoon. Like, all these guys have chances, have roles that they play in this defense where he's going to bring a blitz. And one of the things that we've been doing better with is picking up the blitz. So, with that being said, when they're coming, I watched the last week game, and I'm not trying to say we the Ravens, but they left Mark Andrews open. The first half of that game, Mark Andrews had to have, and I don't know, I might not be right, at least 6 catches going into halftime. I promise you. And he's on my fantasy, so that's how I kind of know. Yeah, you wonder why. How you know about Mark Andrews? Yeah, I'm watching fantasy. I swear, I'm like, we play these guys next week. And if you do this to us, Logan Thomas, and guess what? I got Logan as a backup. So this week, I'm starting Logan Thomas. Just letting you know.
You should be cooking, baby.
Because of what I saw last week. That's how you had to play the game. But that's who I think that's going to have a major role in being able to affect what they're doing to us. And you know, I don't have to say this guy's name. He said it, Terry. I think Terry's one of those guys, man. Like a guy asked me over there, he say, Tanner, if you had to think long term as a receiver position, who was the guy you're gonna pick, Terry or Jahan? Two guys I love. And I say, I'm gonna tell you like this. Coming into this season, I would have said Jahan, because as a receiver, he has all what you need in his toolbox. He can get off the press, he can run routes, he can catch the ball, he can finish. He has it all. And I say, but I knew Terry is a guy that he's just gonna dominate. No matter who you put in front of him, he just finds a way to do it. Yeah. I say, but since you asked me that question tonight, I'm gonna say Terry. Yeah. Because what he has displayed, I've never seen it done. I've never. And I feel like I was one of the guys that playing the kind of way he's played.
That's big praise.
He's, to me, outdone the things that I've done with little that he's has been given. So
all of the quarterbacks?
Yeah, so many. And his came, and mine came early too, but man, like he's done it. And it ain't got to be pretty with him. He's going to get the job done. So when he asked me that question, I laughed. I said, well, you asked me at the right time, I'm going to say Terry. But if you had to ask me earlier, I would have said Jahan. I said, don't get me wrong, this is no indictment to Jahan because I love them both. Yeah. And I just feel like Jahan talent is one of those talents that another team might say, I want to take him off of you. Yeah. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give you something big because I can use him more over here. Because the guy you got, he just gets the job done. You can put anybody second or third next to him. See what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So Jahan is always going to be lethal. But Terry and Logan tomorrow might be those guys that we lean on when it comes time, when due time, when they bring something to us.
And man, Sam has so many weapons, to your point, right? Yeah. So many different guys he can go to. 9 different receivers he connected with last game. Now, fellas, they said it. It's last call. So we're almost done. We're going to get up out of here. We're going to get one more left-hand-up question from the fans. We appreciate y'all so much for watching on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. We thank y'all so much. Y'all have had some great questions. So one last one for y'all, fellas. And it's kind of a tough one. Yep. But listen, y'all don't got to do scores. They want to know, what are your predictions for tomorrow? Beamish, I'm going to start with you. Don't necessarily got to be a score, but just something you predict that's going to happen in tomorrow's game.
I was asked that question earlier, and I told people I don't normally give predictions. But the ultimate thing for me is I know, based off of what I've seen from both teams, what needs to happen. We have to win on first and second down. Yeah. If we start this game winning on first and second down, as we did against the Eagles, we win going away. Offensively, I say that. Flip it over defensively. We have to make sure pressure is coming up the middle. We do that against Geno Smith. We make him throw balls when he don't want to throw them, or hold on to it when he needs to let it go. Yeah. We win the game going away. Yeah. And we cannot allow any big plays special teams. Yeah. So if those things are taken care of, and I said if, because people like to say, well, you said we were going to win. Well, I'm telling you what needs to happen. Yeah. If we get those jobs done, and I'm sure Ron, Eric, Jack has told him the same things, they win the game. Yeah. Because I really believe ultimately the Commanders has more talent. The Commanders had 2 people on the injury list. Yeah. Seattle has 16. Now I don't know if Pete tried to pull a Belichick or not.
He's pulling banana in the tailpipe.
16, but they've missed people the last few weeks. So when you go on the field with less talent, you're supposed to lose. So if Washington has better talent, make sure you do the things that your coach taught you, you win the game.
Tanner, get that prediction.
Yeah, look, I've been on the road.
You've been on the road.
And I'm not giving you no score because I don't have one for you. I'm not, what you call it, Nostradamus, what his name is? I am not him.
Tanadamus.
I don't have the answer. But I will say this, what I've been seeing and what I've been wanting to see for the last few weeks is competitive football. If we can go out there and play competitively throughout the entire 60 minutes of the game, I care less who go home with the victory because you gave me the show and you showed me at the end you didn't have it or you had it to take it home. And to add to what B. Mitch said, one of the things that stands out to me when you're watching this team that we're facing in the Seattle Seahawks, one of the things I harp on is minimize the turnovers. So that's like minimizing the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers, all that offensive. We can do that, got a chance. Yeah. Defensively, get off the field on third down. This team was 1 for 12 on third down last week against the Ravens. And I said this before earlier this week. Yeah, we're not the Ravens. But before the Ravens game, they came in 30th in the league on third down. So that tells you a lot.
They're not that good.
Exactly. If we can do that and handle them regardless of what they're doing on third down and get off the field, you give us a chance offensively to go out there and be productive. With all that being said, you got the answer.
Y'all got the answer. You know what, man? I appreciate y'all because the fans ran the show for me. I ain't had to do much. I was just able to read some questions. So I'm going to give y'all a prediction. I'm going to say 21-7. Commanders is winning because everything they said is going to happen because they're the geniuses here. I'm just listening. I said it. BC said it. 21-7. And this was Command Center Saturday Night Special brought to you by Northwest Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of the Washington Commanders. Northwest is celebrating game day and thanking Commanders fans with a $400 bonus. That's $400 when you open your first ever checking account. Offer ends November 30th, so do not wait. Visit northwestnwfcu.org/Washington to find out how you can score that $400 bonus with your new checking account. Stop searching and go Northwest. Fellas, like they said, this last call, we about to get out of here. We got to get up super early. We are going to be behind enemy lines. That is right. Command Center Game Day Live will be behind enemy lines at Seattle. We are here. The Commanders fans is here. They cheering. They feeling good. They loud in here. That's why I'm screaming.
They trying to get us a finish so they get that last call.
They trying to get that last call. We gonna hit that last call.
I gotta get me a last call.
Command Center. Thank you so much, Commanders family, for being here. Thank y'all for y'all questions. Until tomorrow, we will see y'all Command Center. Game Day Live. We out.